Hey guys, it's Dani. Want to know what I did until now? I filmed the video and then I realized my microphone was off. And yeah, I have been kneeling for the past I don't know how long. So I'm gonna sit down. Very weird angle, I know, I'm sorry. But here we go, take two. Hi, today I'm going to show you my new Sulawesi tank. I kind of redid it a little bit, just improved it a little bit. I'm going to tell you why. And also I'm going to show you my new Sulawesi types. I got Harlequins. I'm so happy. And I have them for 2 months now, but since they are considered the most finicky of Sulawesi shrimps, I kind of wanted to make sure that they didn't just wither off within the past 2 months. I didn't want to jinx it, I guess. But they're still here. You can't see them. I had a bit of a population crash, to be honest. I'm going to tell you about that. But yeah, I just want to show you the new tank, explain a few things about it, and show you the new Sulawesis. Show you how I put this tank together and why. And I'll come back towards the end with some more thoughts and yeah, tell you a little bit what happened to my Sulawesi tank and where I'm at right now, and just show you the beautiful Harlequins. Alrighty, so let's start with why I wanted to change my aquarium. Well, basically the main reason is I just didn't like the former aquarium anymore. Now, the fact that I don't have any plants, since the Sulawesi shrimps do not come from habitats heavily planted or anything, also means that I have an issue with higher nitrates and a big issue with cladophora algae, which for the life of me I don't know how to get rid of because it thrives in the same conditions as any other plant. Also, because I had the Sulawesi snails, sometimes called the elephant snails, those ones I discovered are very good at eating plants, mosses, plants, whatever you name it. So because I had those snails as well, I just could not have any plants in the tank. So the algae thrived, and it got to me because they were getting out of hand. I was very sick of constantly having to pick them with brushes and stuff. I could barely see the tank, and quite frankly, I didn't like it. Also, the lava rock being so porous, it was getting in the way of me cleaning the tank. It was a place for the algae to really catch a grip and not let go. So in the end, looks-wise, it was a mess and I didn't like it anymore. So I decided to change it to something that I thought will prevent algae, and prevent it did. So the new tank is not much bigger than the older tank. It just has a different shape. This is a 28-liter blau tank that I've had for several years, and for substrate I'm using just plain old light-colored gravel. It is inert. I got it from the pet shop again many years ago. I washed it and I'm reusing it. I could not tell you what brand it is because it's been a long time, but it's a typical very affordable gravel. For filter, #1 brand, because again, I don't really know what the brand is. Sun, Resun, something like that. A very affordable internal filter once again. And for hardscape, I'm using Serious Stone, which again I have for several years at this point. So yeah, I like to reuse all of my stuff because they're perfectly fine. Now, the filter actually has a compartment where you can put some biological filtration, and I'm using a little bit of Sechem Matrix, which I had around yet again. Everything in this tank is in the category I had around, so I used it. And just so you know, Serious Stone can actually alter a little bit the quality of the water, but not in a bad way for Sulawesi shrimp. It can raise the pH and hardness, which is good. For light, I'm using a Twin Star 300S, maybe version 2. I don't really remember, it's old again. I'm using it because it improves coloration actually, not because it's a planted tank. And maybe in the future I'm gonna change it, but for now it does improve coloration. I'm using some epiphyte plants, again some Bucephalandras that I've had around for years. I don't really remember what species they are anymore. And for moss, I'm using spiky moss, which I discovered I actually really like. Now, the way I'm using it is in such a way that I can move it around if I feel like it. I'm attaching it to rocks that I can place wherever I want rather than gluing it, and I'm using some fishing line. I personally don't like gluing moss unless I really don't have a choice, and it's just much easier because moss tends to just grow over the glue point, and at some point I need to trim it and it just doesn't attach, and that glue mark becomes visible. It just doesn't look good. So whenever I can actually tie it to something, I will. I'm also trying out some Hygrophila pinnatifida. This one can also be grown as an epiphyte, but it requires much more nutrients than the other ones. So spoilers, it's been a while, it didn't do so good. So I ended up taking it out because it was just melting and withering off without fertilizer. I don't fertilize this tank. So I removed it, but I wanted to leave this segment on just to let you know that I don't think pinnatifida is suitable in these very low intensity tanks. And here is the tank. Now I let it be a few days to cycle. I added some bacteria and just let it run for a little bit before I added the shrimps, but definitely I didn't let it run like for months or anything, just maybe a couple of weeks or so. Adding bacteria, making sure everything is fine. I don't usually age my aquariums for these shrimps. Alrighty, so here is a little look-see at how the tank typically looks like. This is its default. This is a week after I clean it. And you can see it's not good at all. So here I am removing the hardscape and preparing to catch the shrimps. One thing you should know about Sulawesi shrimps, they are hard to catch. So hard because they're a little mellow, they're a little soft in my opinion. They get caught in nets very fast. They just don't budge. You can try to catch them and you'd hope like they would start to swim in the water. They don't. So you have to be very careful how you catch them. And it usually takes hours for me to catch everything. And whenever I put them in the new tank or new location, I have to be sure they are not in the net. They don't jump out of the net or anything. Sometimes they get such a good grip of the net that they don't even let go if I raise the net out of the water. That's how Sulawesi shrimps are, and you have to be very careful because they are very, very fragile. But in the end, I managed. So I transferred everybody in the new tank, and also I'm using some nearite or horned nearite snails. No more of these Sulawesi snails in this tank. Now, before I finish the narration, I did also wanted to tell you something. I've had these Sulawesi shrimps for almost 2 years now, and I didn't find another source to refresh the blood, quote unquote. This is how I say it. Some people say to like introduce new genetics, and you know, from time to time, I strongly believe with a shrimp colony, you need to introduce some new individuals just to diversify a little bit the gene pool, since they do reproduce so fast, and in time, I find that populations don't really do so well if you don't introduce new individuals. Well, I did not have any opportunity to introduce new cardinal Sulawesi shrimps. Plus, even if the stores here would bring these shrimps like once in a blue moon, they typically are much more expensive than any other shrimp, and currently I'm just not in a position to spend so much money on these shrimps. But with the first opportunity where they will be available and I will have the finance for it, I will definitely try, of course, again and refresh the population. But to be fully honest, I don't see it happening anytime soon. So my cardinals currently are not what they used to be. I initially thought that the snails, which are also called rabbit snails, I remember, I thought they were eating too much of the biofilm and they weren't leaving enough food for the shrimps. I removed the rabbit snails quite a bit of time ago, and the population doesn't really bounce back to the glory it once was. Remember, 2 years ago, it was like hundreds. But, well, not really, maybe 100. Now, really not so much. So I honestly don't know what will happen with the cardinals. I'm hoping the harlequins will repopulate, let's say, the scape, although they really are much fussier and much more sensitive than the cardinals now that I've had them for a few months. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Sulawesis, to be fully honest, unless I find some new individuals. I can always restart it, but definitely I am observing very slowly but surely populations are going down. Anyway, I will keep you up to date, but yeah, that's where I'm at with the Sulawesis now. Right, here we are back with the weird angle. It's okay, it's fine. The tank is important, not me. So yeah, here we are. This is the tank. It's been running really nice so far. Given the shrimps, you know, are a little shy, as they are, I'm considering adding maybe some red cherry shrimps here. Maybe it's gonna help with them feeling a little bit more secure and, you know, making them be more visible. Now, these shrimps, they're not fans of plants. I don't see them on the plants almost at all, ever. But the plants do help with the nitrate situation. In the previous tank, I had cladophora algae everywhere. I cannot stand it. I'm done with it. I'm so done with it, you guys. I cannot stand it anymore. I needed to do something. So I had to clear up the tank from the cladophora, and I just decided to redo everything. And I put here a bunch of epiphytes, put some bucephalandras, and you know, a bit of moss. That, you know what, moss is great. All shrimps love moss, even these guys. I see them on the moss, they pick stuff from the moss, they love the moss. So I put these plants just to take care of the nitrate situation and to reduce the cladophora algae situation, and I have no algae, like no cladophora in this tank. Bonus. The green algae forms on the rocks, and I think it's precious. I think it's beautiful. I was hoping to have this algae on the rock because this is shrimp food, that's one, and because it looks nice. These Sirius stone, they look so nice with a little bit of green dust algae on them. This is the only algae that I love, that I like. Not on the glass, but on surfaces I love the green dust algae, especially on the rocks. It looks beautiful. It doesn't tend to form on the plants I see, but this is what I was hoping would happen. And I'm looking at the viewfinder. The moss also looks very nice. Somebody asked what type of moss it is. It's spiky moss. I've never really liked spiky moss, and that's because I didn't know how it would grow probably. And in the depictions, you know, on the Tropica website, it looks a little rambly. I didn't like it, but it's beautiful. I love this moss, and I have tons of it in my shrimp tanks, and the shrimps love it as well. It's a gorgeous moss. Bucephalandra, I don't even know what type it is. It's one that I had for years. And there we have it. The tank is very nice. It has, oh my goodness. I see them all. Here's the thing, you guys. If I sit here in front of the tank, they come out. And you know what? I think they know that I bring food. I think they developed that, like, knowledge that I bring food. But if I move around too much, they become restless and they hide away. But now I see so many of them are out. Oh, I moved a little. So many of them are out, both white socks, and I see some harlequin babies as well. Goodness, it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see them on camera, but I can see them here. I do have footage of me just sitting here. Like, I sat for 20 minutes, half an hour, just here in front of the tank, and I fed them, and they came out, and I took some nice videos that I'm gonna show you. I love watching these guys so much. They're very shy, and I'm hoping, I see that the population is growing again. Also, I'm using a light that kind of promotes the red in their color a little bit. It's a twin star light, but it's so dim. I think it's on 30%, or actually I have a timer. I'm not sure, it's very low, but they're visible. They're still visible. Righty, so that's about it. Focus on my face. That's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and excuse my weird angle, but this is a little bit more comfortable. Keep you up to date with my Sulawesis, and let me know how are your Sulawesis doing. I'm, as I said, over the moon to have harlequins, and I really hope I keep them alive. Alright, so that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.